Hello everybody, how you doing? It's Saturday morning. We just got back from an archery tournament. Kids shot really well. I was proud of them. I'm out in the garage. It's nowhere near as warm as it was last weekend. So I've got my kerosene heater over there taking the edge off right now. We are going to attempt to finish this engine today. Whew. I hope it goes well. I still do not feel well. Whatever this little upper respiratory thing is that we contracted, it's really putting the whoop on me. So I don't plan to work fast. I just told my wife I'm going to take the edge off with the heater. I'm going to come out and I'm going to do as much as I can, and when I start feeling fatigued, I'm just going to call it quits and I'll finish tomorrow. So I'm not going to plan on getting done today. If I do, that's a bonus. But we're going to start by removing the old intake manifold cover, the one that I had started to reinstall. I'm going to go ahead and get it out of there, and then we'll check, make sure everything is clean, make sure that the situation hasn't changed in there. It should not have. And we're going to pop the new cover on and start torquing down the bolts. I'm on my way up to the auto parts store. Last weekend when I had the 1/4-inch torque wrench, I bought 10mm deep well and an 8mm deep well socket for it so that I could work on these. There's two 10mm bolts in there that have a little post on them because something else threads onto the top of them. Well, the torque wrench that I borrowed is a 3/8 drive, and I happen to have a 10mm deep but not an 8. So I don't even have an 8 standard, which I could make work, but I don't know. I'm gonna head up and buy a 8mm deep well 3/8 drive socket. Since my problem last time was with the torque wrench, I thought I would set this one up and show you what it does. I've got it set to 24 inch-pounds of torque, and I'm just now starting to get a little bit of resistance from the bolt. And as I'm pushing, keep watching the wrench. It should pop here in a second. Right there. Did you hear the click? At that point, I'm at 24 inch-pounds of torque, and I'm done with that bolt. I've just got to be really careful with this torque wrench. You want to torque slowly, or you want to tighten slowly, because as soon as it pops, that's when you stop. I've got it all back together. I've got everything buttoned up, and I've gone over it like 3 times, checking all the wires to make sure everything's attached where it needs to be, everything's tight. I am ready to go ahead and turn the motor over and see if it'll start, number one, and number two, if it'll run. So I'm going to put this camera on a tripod, and then I'm going to go turn the key, and you guys can watch and get a first-hand shot of the car starting up. It seems to be running fairly smooth. What I'm going to do is, well, I don't know. There's a little bit of a rock in the engine. I'm hoping that's just because it's cold and it just needs to warm up. But I'm going to let it warm up for a second, and then we're going to take it out for a test run. We look at the dash. The check engine light has cleared. So let's get the garage door up and let's go for a little spin around the neighborhood. Sorry about that. I'll let the camera drop below the dash for a second. Yeah, she hit pretty good there. Oh yeah. So far so good. Nothing unusual. She's low fuel, but I knew that. That was my fault. She needs a little gasoline. Whoa. Tell you what, I'm going to shut the camera off and take it for a little longer spin. I'll check under the hood real quick, make sure there's no no fuel leaking or anything unusual, and then we'll take a little longer spin, and I'll come back and let you know what I found. I'm back home. I took about a 8-10 mile run, and my check engine light popped back on. I stopped to get gas, and when I fired the car back up, the check engine light came back on. And I stopped at the auto parts place and had them run the diagnostic machine on it, and it says the motor is running too lean. Okay. Well, I'm now getting 23 miles per gallon versus the 17 I was getting. So I'm not too upset about it running lean if that's the case. But what I've noticed is when I first started it up, you might remember I made a comment about, oh, that's kind of running rough. What happened was it was running kind of rough, and then it leaned out, and then it would go the other way, run rough, lean out. And finally it leaned out for good, and everything ran great. And I was assuming that that was the computer maybe making its fuel adjustments, because it had been off for a while, and with the intake pressure being what it should be now, I was worried that maybe that was the case. I think what I'm going to do is drive it for a couple days, and instead of using the diagnostic computer there at the auto parts store, I'm about due for an oil change, and that place has they're able to be more specific, because the code I got had about 6 different things. It said it was running lean. It could be an exhaust leak, which is what I was fixing with the intake manifold. Or no, I was fixing an intake leak. Could be an intake leak, could be an exhaust leak. There were about 8 or 10 different things that it could be. And I really need something a little more specific. So, and it may just be that everything's out of whack because it's been running, with that leak for so long, and it's going to take a while to lean back out. So I may just go ahead and drive it for a week or two, and then pull the battery, kill the code, and see if it comes up again, and then take it in for an oil change, and if it does, get it diagnosed over there. But I gotta say, it ran great. When I hit the pedal, it accelerated really hard. I mean, it ran smooth. I did notice a little roughness in the idle when I was sitting at a stoplight, and I could shift into neutral, and it would lean out and just run as beautiful as possible. And I'd shift it back into gear, and there's a little roughness in the idle. So it may need a little tuning. I recently, about 4,000 or 5,000 miles ago, had a tune-up done to it where they put spark plugs and stuff in it. And so I'm hoping that's not an issue, but we're going to keep an eye on this, and I'll keep you guys posted, obviously, if anything happens. But for now, I'm fairly happy, and with 23 miles per gallon registering on the computer, man, that's like 4 to 5 miles per gallon better than I was getting. So, and I was told once I fixed that, my gas mileage would go up. So I'm happy about that. But we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys posted. Thanks for hanging out with me. Have a great day, and we'll see you again real soon.